Hi guys, in this video I want to discuss how to actually compare suburbs on HtAG. There are multiple pathways that you can use to actually compare suburbs on HtAG. There is a flow that you can follow from goal matching to define your brief and then to shortlist particular suburbs that are related to your brief, which I've explained in the goal matching video previously. But there are also instances where you would just like to compare suburbs for yourself, or if you're a buyer's agent, for clients on the basis of their preferences. So you can highlight and see whether the choices that they've made and your suggestions actually stack up, whether they're the same or whether there is a huge disparity. And this allows you, or this necessitates a particular flexibility when it comes to comparing suburbs or introducing suburbs that you actually want across 150 indicators that we have on the platform. So let's deep dive. In order to do that, you need to click on the Suburb Shortlisting Card. Once you click on the Suburb Shortlisting Card, what you'll see is an area where you build the research or the filtering algorithm, okay? What I mean by that is you build an algorithm that includes a collection of metrics which will serve you in delineating the best suburbs in response to your brief. But as I said, this video today is simply, if you have suburbs in mind, let's say you're an investor, a suburb that has performed well, or let's say your own suburb that you live in, and you have a particular suburb that you want to invest into and what you want to compare the two, there is an option to do that, and you want to compare 5, 10 or 100 if you want. Or if you're a buyer's agent and a client comes to you and says, listen, this is my preference. However, as a buyer's agent, there are better opportunities and you want to use examples and compare the two to highlight to your client that there are better options. There are pathways and flexibilities on the platform embedded that you can actually use to insert these suburbs as opposed to follow the HtAG method, which starts with the brief. Let me showcase how that is done. So you'll see the research algorithm here. What you need to do is you essentially need to choose an area filter. Okay. Now the reason why it states area is because you are allowed to compare both LGAs and suburbs. So that's why we say area. We don't say suburb, because if we say suburb, the users will inadvertently assume that they can't compare LGAs. By selecting the area, you can actually compare LGAs against each other and you can compare suburbs against each other. The condition, you set equals, and then you can have a particular suburb in mind. And if you just type up on your keyboard, that suburb will appear. For argument's sake, we'll just use some of the suburbs that are on this list. So you added one suburb here. Now, the next thing that you have to do is, instead of this end button, you would click on all, okay? So once you click on all, you can add additional areas that you want to compare, okay? Equals, you'll follow the same process and you can choose another from the list, yeah? Now, you can do that for as many suburbs as you want. So you can add literally an infinite amount of suburbs, or 6,000 suburbs if you want to compare all of them. Or you can add 10, 13, 15, whatever you choose. You follow the same process and you will see that the suburbs are actually added at the bottom in the shortlist. You choose the suburb, you scroll down. Let's just, for argument's sake, we choose this one here, yeah? Okay, so you can see that one is added to the actual list. Now, the beauty of this, as I said, is you might have particular investment locations in mind and you want to compare it against the overall sentiment and the locations that are mentioned in social media, and this is the quickest way to do it. Now, what is important is that HtAG has by far the most amount of metrics on the market, 150 essentially. What you see here is only, let's say, 10 or 15. If you expand and expand it to expert, you will see most of the metrics that are on the platform. They're not all, but most of them are here, probably about an 80 in this table. By listing the suburbs that you need, clicking on all, making sure that all those suburbs are included, and then you traverse to the DEX module, and DEX module allows you to compare these 3 suburbs that are listed here, for example, across 150 metrics, so you can actually be sure which one is actually the best And as I've seen this used in many instances with buyer's agents where they have clients who have certain ideas about particular suburbs, or as I said, with investors, when you want to compare a suburb that has performed well or your own suburb against a potential opportunity that you're looking into. This is a very good way of actually layering the suburbs and then using the DEX module to compare them across as many metrics as you like. And I will do another video on how to actually use and leverage the power of the DEX module. Okay, I hope this has helped, guys. Take care.